Hello and welcome to the Biomass Magazine podcast. I'm your host, Anna Simet. We are here at the International Biomass Conference and Expo in Nashville, Tennessee, on the trade show floor. I have with me Mike Curci of West Salem Machinery. Mike, hello and welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, Anna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Show's going well. We're loving this.
Yes, awesome. Love it. So Mike, we're going to talk about West Salem Machinery. They have deep roots in size reduction. How has your equipment evolved alongside the changing demands of the biomass industry?
So we got to go back to the roots. So
Yes.
Carl Gerlinger brought over the equipment originally from Germany, and that's where we focused on the Gerlinger carrier, which is still very active in our portfolio today. And then Mark Lyman, the grandson, was really the initiative behind size reduction equipment. And as the industry has evolved, initially they focused a lot on sawmills, small reduction, but now these much larger mills. Our equipment has obviously got much larger.
Yeah.
Now we're producing machines like 5472 with a 54-inch rotor that's 72-inch wide, much higher capacity. But then we've also focused on, adding other sensors. So now we're looking at temperature sensing, vibration sensing, and then we can actually remote into our equipment as well, which is really unique for us. And so we can see what operators are doing, and that really helps us help them. And so the equipment has not only gotten bigger, but it's gotten a lot smarter, a lot more optimization from screens, hammer types, hammer setups, really for the various materials that we're currently operating.
Okay. Cool. So how critical is proper size reduction to downstream efficiency, whether that's pellet production or combustion or gasification?
It is very critical. So if the particle size is too large, we end up with, inefficient drying. So if that particle is so thick, we're not able to truly get the moisture where we need it to be. And we see swings in the moisture content that impact not only the drying, but then also dry grinding and then pelletizing. With that, if the particle is too large, then the pellet mill becomes a very inefficient grinder. That we need to be very mindful of. Instead of spending that energy to pelletize, we're now spending that energy now to grind the equipment, or grind the particle, sorry. So we take, when we're reviewing an application, we'll start and look at every facet of that and try to really understand what they're looking to do downstream so that we can optimize the system up front to help reduce operational costs throughout the entire process of the facility.
Okay. Great answer. So what are the most common mistakes that operators make when it comes to grinding systems, and then how can they avoid them?
So some of the most common mistakes are, really understanding the feedstock that they're going to receive. We'll get calls and say, hey, I'm going to receive, 4-inch minus, 5-inch minus, or even much larger pieces. But really and truly, when the plant starts up, the feedstock that they thought they were going to get is much different. And that happens fairly commonly. And so with that, really understanding what feedstock available is in their area, really doing a really good feedstock analysis. Now with that, we're able to size the machines in such a way that we can make changes to help them out after the fact.
Okay.
We do that on a regular basis. We thought we were going to get one material, we get another material. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
So we'll come in and help them optimize that and really fine tune it so that it's not an I really made a mistake. Now I've got the wrong piece of equipment. So
Right.
we really work with them and helping them understand what is the different characteristics of feedstock. If I think I'm getting chips from this material today and I get something else, making sure they're asking the right questions in our application reviews.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of related to this, what my next question was, which was about different feedstocks. They all behave very differently. How do you guys approach system design when working with, say, clean wood fiber to the more challenging materials?
So, it really starts with the application team. We really have to pay credit to them because they'll look at every application. With that, we also have the capability of bring materials in-house in our testing facility. So we can run it in different ways, different rotor speeds, different tip configurations, screen configurations, and really try to fine tune what they're looking to achieve. In every material, whether it's king grass, wood chips, bark, railroad ties, for a matter of fact, they all process very differently. So having that experience really helps us set that machine up for the success of that operation.
Where is your testing facility?
It's located in Salem, Oregon. So that is the location of our manufacturing, our engineering, application, production. So it's a proud team of about 85 members at this present time, constantly growing that team and really growing the business line there.
Okay. So, my next question is: where maintenance and uptime are constant concerns, what innovations are you guys doing that's helping extend equipment life and reducing downtime?
So I'm really big on operational expenses and coming from operations and understanding how much are we paying per ton to produce that material, whether it's pellets, chips, or any other feedstock. So, understanding how much life we're getting out of those hammers, how much life we're getting out of those screens, coming up with innovations to change the hammer configuration, the hardening of the hammer, the hard face on that hammer. Is that hammer now rotatable so that we get twice the life, 3 times the life, 4 times the life? Screens same way. Can we reverse screens? Things of that nature. So those all play into the overall operations of the facility. So if we can reduce the cost of operations by 2 to 5%, that's transformational for the facility because that goes back to the bottom line, which is very important.
Right.
Instead of getting 3,000 hours out of a tip, if I can get 7,500, that's now just double the life almost, and that really helps the operation, not just in the cost of the tooling, but the downtime of that machine, because now that machine is running constantly without having to stop it every so often now to do all this additional maintenance. So that's really critical in the operations side of the
Right.
business.
Yeah. Especially pellet industry isn't known for super high margins. So
That's
it makes a
exactly
difference.
correct.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Okay. So, Mike, as the industry pushes toward new markets like biocarbon and advanced fuels, what role does or is size reduction going to play in enabling those pathways?
I just had a conversation here on the show floor about railroad ties and turning them into biochar.
Right.
We drive down the road along the railroad tracks and we see old cross ties piled up. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of new applications. We're not just taking trees and cutting them down, debarking, chipping, and processing.
Totally.
We're seeing a lot of different things. I've seen things as crazy as horse manure that we're grinding down and then running through a pyrolysis unit and pelletizing. And so the role of the West Salem lab and allow us to test those materials and understanding the characteristics, the material flow, the energy demand that each of those materials is going to take, it is absolutely critical. So we'll work with each of the developers throughout the application, the testing, and I would say to the audience is bring us your toughest application. The equipment's built to last, and we love the hardest ones. Sometimes we like something new outside of that of just wood chips.
Yeah. I love that. Well, Mike, you sure know your stuff. How long have you been in this industry?
I started in the industry for John Christian Erickson or the JCU Group,
Yeah.
who proudly owns West Salem and Brooks now. Whenever they built the world's largest facility in 2007.
Oh,
So I'm coming up on almost 20 years,
wow.
and it's been a fun, exciting time.
Yeah, it's an exciting industry. It's always changing.
It is. It is. So I think right now with what we're seeing in biomass power is pretty exciting,
Yep.
especially for West Salem. We've got some new systems going into biomass power where we're taking underutilized feedstocks and that could not be used for pellets, and we're putting them to use to generate electricity,
Very cool.
instead of other types of carbon.
That's awesome. Love it. Old school.
Yeah.
Mike, anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I appreciate it. It's been a great show.
Yeah.
Happy to be here with you. And if we can help anybody out from West Salem, we'd love to hear from the customers and see what we can do for them.
Well, we're sure glad you're here. Thank you so much, Mike, and to West Salem.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
have a good show.
Yes, you too. And to our viewers, this has been Mike Curci with West Salem Machinery, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time.